Yo, yo, yo. The freight world, unfiltered coffee running strong. Oil field carrier keeps the wheels rolling on. Fraud expert spots the scam before it lands. Sarcastic broker with a comeback and a plan. 3 views, 3 personalities. No filter, no fake. Smart, fast, honest.
Do you even freight?
Do you even freight?
Welcome to the premiere of Do You Even Freight morning show. I'm your host, Shimmy, and these are amazing co-hosts, John Cantera and Kevin Bullock.
It's the other way around, but that's okay.
Oh my God, because my thing is not mirrored. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. They have names. You can read.
It's Monday morning, y'all. Have some coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
You got ears,
is. It is.
Kev?
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Yes. Is it Happy Monday though? It's a happy late birthday Monday, huh?
Yeah. Kevin, you're not exactly looking
It's well.
clear-eyed. So what happened there, Kev?
There
Come on.
may or may not
Come
have
on,
been some
come on.
whiskey involved. Leave me alone.
Well, there was good reason for it, I'm
I like
sure.
old fashions. We'll leave it at that.
Hey, you're not going to tell us why you were enjoying old fashions? What was that?
Because I'm old today, or older. I'm older today.
You look at
Okay. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Gee,
Happy
thanks,
birthday,
Minnie.
Kev. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I
This is the
don't know
first-
about the rest of you all, but I was flying yesterday. I didn't get to my hotel until 3 hours ago. So I am just bleary-eyed like there's no tomorrow. That's why I'm sucking down Go Juice.
I just didn't sleep because I have a cat that doesn't stop waking me up. Hmm
Oh, I love that.
Almost made it on the show this
Oh,
morning, didn't it?
my phone doesn't keep ringing.
He did. He's probably going to make his entrance, his debut. Well, this is the first morning show that we have live. I'm nervous.
Woo!
I'm nervous.
I don't know why you're nervous, Jimmy. Everyone loves you. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're cute. I like the green screen. Everything's all good.
Stop it. Stop it. No, don't stop. Keep going. Well, let's get into news because that's what we're here for, right? Not to shoot shit. We can do that in a little bit.
You got it.
Last week, I shared on Kisses Media about TP Freight going under, and we were pretty sure it was happening. And I believe we have confirmation as of this morning. So TP Freight, if a lot of people don't know, smaller regional carrier over here in the Pacific Northwest, they partner with a lot of LTL carriers. Well, they did. They no longer did. They shuttered their operations. Well, actually, I wouldn't say shuttered because that implies like stepping down. No, they did not. They actually just closed their doors. They started closing up on employees and locking out terminals. So we'll have an in-depth story on kissesmedia.com, but that was the interesting news from last week. Let's see here. Kevin, I think we have some weather issues going on.
Yeah, so depending on where you're at, which Shimmy, I believe, up in your neck of the woods and all up and down the West Coast, our awesome governments are doing a great job of managing our forested areas to the point that you can see the smoke from space.
Yes.
But hey,
we
are
are choking over here. We are choking over here.
Obviously, there's a lot of fires running around on the West Coast. We've had a lot of weather. There were actually quite a few tornadoes up in central Illinois last night. We are getting into the time of year that the Midwest, the breadbasket of the country, starts seeing a whole lot more severe storms as we get into the middle and end of August and into September. So remember, before you're planning your trips, when you're looking at where you're going, keep your head on a swivel. Look at your radar. Have a way to receive weather alerts because it can go nasty quickly. And most of us, generally, when we're out driving professionally, we're in high-profile vehicles. They don't deal well with wind. So watch your weather. Make sure you know where you're going. Have an escape plan. Have a safe haven in mind. Yeah, that's where we're at for the weather. Otherwise, it's August. It's going to be hot. It was hot last August. It will probably be hot next August.
And moist. I know that's a favorite word of a lot of people. It's moist, right? And
Oh no.
not in the good way. It's very humid in places. I am not. We don't experience humidity here often, and so between the smoke and the heat, it is creating this weird humidity. I do not like it. I do not like it at all. Mm-mm. No.
If you wanted to live in Houston, you'd live in Houston. That's what I've been saying all week. This year has been interesting for us down here in Texas. I'm working in North Central Texas quite a bit right now. It feels like Houston. It really does. By the numbers, it's actually been cooler this summer than it has been the previous 5 years. But when you throw in the humidity numbers, it feels hotter. It just feels nasty. You wake up in the morning, you take a shower, you go outside, you feel like you need another shower just from walking outside. It's great.
I don't even know how to read the humidity thing on my phone because it's just something we don't worry about here, honestly. Don't shake your head. Stop with the shaking of the head, John.
We got to run and pull. How many times I'm going to shake my head here? So it's going to happen a lot. Get used to it. Being in Florida, I love the humidity. I love air I can feel, and I'm sitting in Arizona today. So I am dreading stepping outside because by the time we're done this, the sun will actually be up. When I step outside, I'm going to burst into flame. I heard last week
vampires do that.
119. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm a day walk. I'll be all right.
Jeez.
So, John, what brings you to Phoenix? What brings you to Phoenix?
My employer's actually here. I typically work remote,
Okay.
but I've got to go visit Phoenix every month or so to show my face and to meet with the rest of the team and do other stuff. So, so I'm in the same boat as Shimmy when it comes to I have to drag my ass out of bed early in the morning to be able to make this show happen. But I'm cool with that because I love to be here. Let's get on with the regulatory stuff, though. We do have some regulatory updates coming out of FMCSA today. For those of you who love to post your opinions about some of the things that FMCSA is doing, today is your day. FMCSA is opening up a public comment period on ELP. They're working to codify the ELP into federal law to better identify the different standards that exist when it comes to assessing ELP. So be sure to go to government websites and check that out. Full story is going to be on Kisses Media.
Hopefully they can get their shit together.
Yeah, I every time I sit here and I look at the government, I shake my head. I thought that the Delilah law was going to blow through Congress and get passed quickly, especially since the president highlighted that highlighted Delilah's incident in the State of the Union this year. I really thought that Corca was going to blow through Congress like a hot knife through butter, and both of them have stalled as they hit the Senate. So God only knows what the heck's going to happen. And why in God's name do we have to have a law to allow a truck driver to use a bathroom? I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox for a second. We need to get to our main story, Shimmy.
Yeah, we'll give you another hot topic to discuss because I know you like to do that. So Landstar made a pretty significant move when it comes to carrier vetting. It sounds like who they're choosing to do business with. So what exactly did Landstar do, John, and why does it matter? This is a big one.
So we're all still reeling from the SCOTUS decision on the Montgomery versus Caribe Transport 2 case that happened back in May. Most brokers are still trying to figure out what end is up, and if they haven't already had a vetting program that is fully documentable and defensible in court, they are still working on building that. And even those who have one that's fully defensible in court, such as my employer, we are still upgrading that because, people want to be the best of the best. Well, yeah, Landstar is kind of throwing, let's say, the baby out with the bathwater. So Landstar, before the decision, had already made up their mind that they're going to look very closely at CSA scores and start paring down their carrier base dependent upon how many scores were out of whack. Well, they took it a step further thanks to the SCOTUS decision. And since the SCOTUS decision, they have eliminated, hold on to your butts, everybody, 40,000 motor carriers from their ranks. 40,000. That is a lot. I know of a lot of motor carriers, good motor carriers, who rely on Landstar for a lot of the work that they do, and a lot of them no longer have the ability to utilize Landstar. Now, what this signifies industry-wide is that brokers are tightening the noose. If you are a motor carrier, you need to pay close attention to your safety scores. That one bad inspection report counts so much more than you could possibly imagine. So just throwing that out there.
I'm curious to know if any of them had any heads up, if Landstar gave anybody a heads up. If anybody has experience with that, I'd be curious to know in the chat.
From a carrier standpoint, you generally just get an email from Highway saying you're no longer approved.
Yeah, throw it in the comments, folks. Tell us if you are one of those carriers who have fallen victim to this. But from past experience, yeah, that was a contract dispatcher back in the day. When Landstar made that change to cut people based on safety scores, originally, there was no notice about that. So I had two of the carriers I dispatched for fell victim in that purge. How many are going to fall victim in this purge of the people that I knew in the past? I'm not sure, but I know the number's going to be significant because it looks like Landstar's gunning for the cream of the creme, and that's okay. But if you are not in that situation, you need to fix it, folks. Kevin, what is your safety score look like, and how are you faring when it comes to dealing with brokers?
My safety score is getting better by the day. It's getting better with each inspection. We ran a lot in West Texas, and I'll give you a little anecdotal evidence here. I have an out of service on my CSA from sitting on the side of the road with a blowout, waiting on a tire man to show up, with my pilot cars out, with cones out. And the trooper decided he was going to run a level 1 and said, "Oh, by the way, those 2 tires blew out. We're writing you for underinflated tires."
Please tell me you challenged that.
Oh yes. And so when you data queue it, it goes to the reporting officer and to his sergeant. Both of them said the defects were evident at the time of inspection. Well, yeah, they were. We were on the side of the road waiting on the tire man to show up. He actually showed up and started changing the tires before you finished your report, officer. But they said the violations stand. So we had to request a manual review from Austin before we finally got them off. So yeah, this is some of the stuff we deal with sometimes. Yes.
Go ahead, Shimmy.
I was just going to say, do you have any suggestions for carriers to help avoid this type of stuff?
Document as much as you can. I tell my guys, when you get pulled over, video it. That officer is going to be videoing it, and be polite about it. Just say, "Hey, officer, as you conduct your inspection, if it's all right, I would like to follow along and document it as well for our records, so that my safety department can see exactly what it is we're looking at." If you don't have documented evidence of something, you can't fight it. At that point, it's your word against his, and he's got a badge and a gun, so he wins. That's how that goes. But if you have documentation, if you've got evidence of it, you can fight that through a data queue. You won't always win, but you will lose 100% of the ones you don't data queue. So obviously, CSA scores are hugely important. It's something that we try and guard very hard. Unfortunately, a lot of the times we actually look like we know what we're doing. So DOT is pulling folks over to the right of us, to the left of us, and here we are stuck in the middle with our escorts, and they leave us alone for the most part. which is sometimes a good thing because I really don't want to deal with it. But sometimes it's a bad thing because I know we can pass a level 1 inspection. I would like to have a couple more clean level 1 inspections. It would help my CSA score. Shimmy, I've driven all the way from Texas to Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and been through every scale house on the way and gotten a bypass.
Dang, did you go through California?
We did not go through California. I avoid
That's
that place like the plague.
Everybody does.
People ask me, what lanes do you service? I service the United States south of Pennsylvania and east of California. That's how we operate.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that.
It is what it is. So, question for both John and Shimmy here, though. We talked and touched briefly on the ELP and then on Montgomery and what it's done to a bunch of brokerages shutting their doors and becoming agents for Landstar and causing carriers to no longer be approved. What are y'all seeing from, I guess, a fallout of both the ELP and Montgomery? How is it affecting, from a brokerage standpoint, what you're doing, Shimmy, and then John, from a compliance standpoint, from a fraud standpoint? Is it making it any easier? Is it making it any harder?
Well, for us, we're kind of a niche brokerage, so it's a little bit different. I don't rely on the load boards. I don't rely on a lot of things and that a lot of other brokerages do. We have a very dialed in carrier network of carriers that we've been using for some of them 25 plus years. So it's a little bit different for our business specifically. We have always made sure that we have things documented, and I think that's just really the biggest distinction for brokerages. Is, I mean, I know it. I know it. You just need to make sure that you're documenting, and there's a lot of fear with what's going on. But realistically, if you're doing your due diligence and you're doing your documentation, there shouldn't be that level of fear. And I think that a lot of this is creating, like, the goal is to fix the fraud, but are we fixing fraud, or in the process are we actually creating an industry where everybody's afraid to do, so afraid of like liability that everybody is not taking a chance on good carriers, and we're really just shoving out the good actors.
I wonder if we're going to create almost a series of mergers where you're going to end up, we've got the I guess you'll call them the mega carriers. Landstar being one of them. I'm curious if we're going to see some of these 40,000 motor carriers end up leasing on with some of the larger carriers out there. I know several that are leased on to companies down here in Texas and up in Illinois, up in Chicago, stuff like that, they've got their own company. They have 15 or 20 trucks and they're running somebody else's DOT numbers. A lot of times because of the cost of compliance is so high, it's easier and cheaper to let someone else's safety department manage your back office and you don't have to worry about it. I think that's one of the things we're seeing all from an owner operator and a carrier standpoint, and also from a freight agent standpoint, where I think we're going to start seeing some consolidation in the industry.
I wholeheartedly agree. The great consolidation has begun, and it's not just on the carrier side; it's on the broker side too. You're seeing a lot of small brokerages who don't want to deal with the potential liability that Montgomery creates. They don't have to deal with it, so they want to become agents for the brokers that have the bigger pockets. They are going to the Landstars and to the C.H. Robinsons, the J.B. Hunts, to set up agencies instead of being independent brokers. I think you're going to see a lot more of that over the next year or so, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the industry collapses back onto itself into a concentration where it was prior to the Motor Carrier Act of 1980. When deregulation took place in 1980, that's when everything started to explode out, especially over the last 15 years. The number of motor carriers, the number of brokers in existence ballooned like there was no tomorrow because of low barriers to entry. What this does, it adds a lot of barriers to entry and is causing a lot of the contraction that we're seeing within the market. But, to point out something that Shimmy had mentioned before, Shimmy had mentioned, what are we doing to prevent boxing out the good carriers? Because there are good carriers out there who may have a deceptive Rating. So brokers, the recommendation I have for you is that pay attention to all your circumstances and build it into your process. For example, I have clients that I work with who part of their process is they look at the CSA's, the CSA's rating, the FMCSA's actual safety rating. And remember, only 6% of the motor carriers out there actually have a rating. This would be your unsatisfactory, conditionals, and satisfactories. If they are conditional, conventional wisdom across the internet has said, if they're conditional, screw it, cut them off. You don't want them, get rid of them. They're trash. To an extent, I can agree. But look at the circumstances. There are several motor carriers that I've evaluated where they received that conditional rating 15 years ago. Not a year ago, 15 years ago. And if you evaluate their recent inspection history is crystal clear. They've got, maybe a 5% out of service rate compared to the rest of the industry. They're actually pretty damn safe, all things considered. So if you've got a process built in, a documented process with signatures across the brokerage to approve exceptions, then these good motor carriers that appear bad just because they have a conditional rating are something that you can actually continue to work with and feel comfortable working with. Remember, brokers, it's not about what their score is and are you accepting above or below the line. The question is, what is your process and have you followed your process to the T? It's about your process. So don't panic. Just make sure you have a solid, documentable, and defensible process.
Yep. Document.
So not only document, but also we were having a discussion the other day about the trigger words that a broker can't say.
These are fun. You guys got to go find this out on Reddit and other social media sites. Go ahead, please.
Well, it's interesting to me. So this is there's always been a war between brokers and carriers. Sometimes it's a hot war, sometimes it's a cold war, but it's always kind of existed, right? But the carriers are kind of looking at this saying, well, it's about time the brokers are open to the same liability that we are as a carrier. So not only if in an accident, not only is the carrier liable, the driver is liable as well. This now kind of flips the tables on it with some of these words here that not only is the broker liable, the agent could be liable as well. Words like strong solo. When you tell a driver, when you tell a driver or dispatcher, we don't care what it takes. This load has to be there. Especially if they've already said and brought hours of service. There's things that now start getting into driver coercion, and I can see a whole lot more enforcement and a whole lot more teeth coming into this on the backside now. Now that we've seen Montgomery come out and we've seen some of these nuclear verdicts that have gone after the brokers here. So everybody, I think, needs to be very cognizant of the fact that the words that you put not only into a phone call, but into a text message or into an email have very significant weight and can haunt you for the rest of your professional career.
Absolutely.
Oh, without a doubt. Coercion is one of the biggest issues that back when I was dispatching that motor carriers appeared to face. I don't know how many times I had been threatened with action against my carriers, like freight guards or watchdog reports, if my carrier doesn't do what it is the broker expects done. Forget the fact they want you to cover 900 miles in 16 hours. Guys, that's not happening. It's not legal. Figure it out. So what brokers need to do is brokers need to manage the expectations of their customers. We're now in a situation as an industry where the logistics managers at our customers are young, inexperienced, and they don't even know what a truck looks like. Yet they're being told by their superiors that they have to manage the bottom line, they have to get the cheapest rate possible, so they are shopping for the cheapest rates. So what you need to do, brokers, is your salespeople have to get it together and explain to these logistics managers that you can only have top quality service, good speed, or what was that last one, Kevin? You had this the other day. There are three components.
You can have it. There's three things you can get. You can have it good, fast, or cheap. Pick any two.
Exactly. There you go.
Yep.
You can't have all three, and you have to manage all of those expectations with your customer, so the customer understands what's going on. It may mean the difference between you keeping or losing that customer, because let's face it, motor carriers know that coercion is going to be looked at very closely. And if brokers haven't figured that out, go talk to C.H. Robinson. They got 604 million reasons why they're sweating bullets right now.
Yeah. Hey, John, do you think that, well, I guess both of you, but do you think that this is going to create a situation where brokers and carriers will actually have worse relationships? Because I could see a lot of, not me, okay, not me. We're not going to lump me in with those three letters.
You carriers love you. We know.
Well, I mean, I could see where brokers are going to create, more stringent processes for themselves, but also their number one protection is for themselves, right? And so how is it that, what am I trying to say? Holy crap, I haven't had enough coffee today. Somebody made me get up at 4:30 in the morning.
I think I know where you're going with this. Can it, based off of the new rules coming out from a carrier standpoint to limit their exposure and liability, are we going to see more stringent requirements for motor carriers? Are we going to start seeing motor carriers having more stringent requirements for brokers and choosing not to work with? I mean, just straight up, when somebody says strong solo, I think we're going to see something like Carrier 411 for the carrier side come out against the brokers. And I think there's going to be databases out there that, hey, these guys are going to push you to violate hours of service. You're going to end up with good brokerages that have a bad agent that are going to start messing it up for the entire brokerage. I think it has the potential to become very acrimonious if everybody's not very careful.
That was a big word.
I know. That's acrimonious is an absolutely cromulent word. Okay, I mean, we're good.
I'm not going to throw a word in there. Okay.
Good, because only the loquacious among us actually know how to use those words. I think
go to your dictionary and look up cromulent, please.
And there's our first one of the day right there, John. There's the first one. But no, I can see it getting rough if we're not careful. And we've had this conversation before. It's going to come back down to relationships, not only from a business standpoint, but also a personal relationship between carriers and brokers, between carriers and agents, where an agent can come back and say, these folks are good, they're legitimate, they're decent. These are people we want to do business with. Where carriers are talking to their back office saying, no, this is a legitimate broker. They're not going to push us. They're not going to get us to try and run out of what we can do. I think it's going to force partnerships if we really want to continue moving freight in the same way that it has been done. And maybe getting rid of some of the way things have been done. Maybe that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of shitty brokers. We've got a lot of shitty carriers. Speaking of shitty carriers, this video that we're about to watch went viral this weekend simultaneously across TikTok, Facebook, X, and YouTube, but it is not new footage. It is from October 2024, which is a great reminder of how older footage gets recycled without context. Let's take a look at that video. Also,
Karma.
Tired.
Karma.
was tired.
It's
He needed to
awful
take a
to
nap.
laugh, but yes, karma's a bitch. God.
I see stuff like that all the time, and I know we do this at the end, but I'm going to do it anyway. Shout out Rob Carpenter. He puts up videos, safety videos, on a regular basis, and we see road rage happen a lot. And road rage is probably one of the biggest issues that we've got out there. I remember my dad used to sit there and say, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do own the road. I pay taxes, damn it." So he will cruise in the left lane, and he doesn't give a damn who the hell he pissed off. Yeah, it took me being a trucker myself to realize, oh, that's so freaking stupid. And yeah, my wife sits there and has a great way of dealing with road rage. Okay, when someone's jamming right up on her tail or track cuts her off or something like that, you know what she says? They must really have to take a shit. They must really have to take a shit. And then when we see them pulled over on the side of the road, I guess they didn't make it.
You should make a sign that says, "Do you gotta poop?"
Wow.
Oh,
I looked up cromulent, by the way. Cromulent was not a real word. It was made up on The Simpsons, and then
thank you.
it was added to the dictionary. But I mean, okay, but let's be honest.
It's a perfectly cromulent
They're adding
word.
some interesting words to the dictionary. Perfectly cromulent word. Yes. It means acceptable, satisfactory, legitimate, or perfectly fine, according to The Simpsons.
There you go. And now it's in Webster, so it wasn't a word, but it is a word now.
Of course, your vocabulary would consist of The Simpsons words. God, The
You're
Simpsons
welcome.
actually was created here, or based here. We have some stuff downtown where you can go and there's like artwork and stuff from The Simpsons. Anyway,
From the Tracy Ullman show, wasn't it?
who is that? I don't know.
Oh my children! You're all children.
You're like 80 million years old, dude.
So
Dude,
something. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Kevin.
the pup talking to the old wolf like that. Where's the respect?
I don't give a damn about respect. I really don't. I have people sit there. I quote The Simpsons a lot, all the time actually. And people talk about my my chrome dome here and how I must have stuck it in a ball polisher at the bowling alley. So I mean, oh yeah, I stick my head in the Polo Shino at Barney's Bolorama on a regular basis. Only Simpsons
It's
fans.
just your head.
Only Simpsons fans are going to get this. Well, yeah, you people suck.
So here's one for you. As we talk about that video a little bit that came up, what are carriers supposed to hire as a short circuit between the seat and the steering wheel? The technical word that or the words that are used by FMCSA is professional driver, which is one of the reasons why when there's an accident, the first look always goes to the truck. That's why there's always a complete DOT inspection done on a truck after an accident, checking brakes, checking tires, checking lights, checking everything else. All of that is looked at because as a professional driver, you're held to a higher standard. And that means that an accident that might be considered avoidable for a car may not be considered avoidable for a driver, because you're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to be at the top of your game. You're supposed to be looking, a half a mile to a mile ahead and trying to anticipate what's going on, not just reacting to what's going on immediately around you. So that instance right there was that was definitely a short circuit between the seat and the steering wheel. And I'm surprised he kept it upright as long as he did.
It drives me nuts when I see people behave in that manner. I get it. We're on the road constantly. Tempers flare. For whatever reason, there's anyone can snap. I've had motor carriers. Well, I've had drivers who worked for me when I was a motor carrier who literally parked their load at a hotel and check themselves into a loony bin because they just couldn't handle it anymore. I'm glad they did that.
I mean, holy shit, but good for them.
Yeah, I'm glad they recognized that they needed help, which they said something to me. I could help them find help. My wife's a licensed professional counselor, for Pete's sake. But it's mental health is something that is overlooked in many industries. And considering the fact that in this industry, we are daily dealing with 80,000-pound missiles going across U.S. highways, people die when health in any factor is overlooked, mental, physical, etc. So, guys, take care of yourselves. Please, for the love of God, take care of yourselves. And remember, they really got to take a shit. Just laugh at them as they drive.
Mother, let's make some bumper stickers, please, that says, "Do you got to poop, please?" KTM. Thank you so much.
I want to see how you tie that in with the word of the day.
I mean, let's see. We could call it freight word of the day is hot shot. So I don't know. I mean, you could call it a hot shot. I mean, more likely it works in better with your hot loads. Okay.
Sometimes.
So today the word of the day is hot shot because it could mean a lot of different things, but really it's just a smaller, time sensitive freight moved on a smaller truck. It can go quicker, right? Sorry. Let's see here. It just means that, you need to get there faster. We're going to have a truck and a pickup usually. Well, depends, right? It's different for everybody. Next hot shot, hot loads.
Hot shot, hot loads, that kind of thing.
Transition.
Yeah, there we go. There's my hot. Sorry, I was looking at Google and seeing what ATS referred to as a hot shot, and it agreed with me more than it agreed with y'all. But
okay.
It's all good. It's all good. The hot load of the day right now, I believe, actually is an excavator that hit. Nope. This one's different. All right, I've got that one up. I-10 in Houston. I'm sorry. This one right here. Anybody that lives in Houston and commutes down I-10 at all understands what happens when oversized freight, which there is a lot of coming out of the east side of Houston, tries to go straight down I-10 through downtown and either Alt 90, the Houston Avenue Bridge. They make believers out of people that permits are important. Measuring your load is important, guys. I cannot say this enough. Get a tape measure and know how to use it. Yes, Shimmy, size matter. As Tracy Smith likes to say, inches and details, folks. Inches and details. And when you're tall, inches are big details you don't want to mess up. In this particular instance, he whacked that thing and lost his load right there in the middle of the main lanes. Shut it down for several hours. Yeah, it was a fun one there. And the sad thing is this actually happens probably 2 to 3 times a week sometimes. So it's a known problem. Folks, this is why we have enforcement. This is why HPD has their own CVE department. This is why they sit outside of the ports and pull people in and inspect them, check for permits. This is why HPD has their own DOT group that's constantly driving around in this area, pulling folks over. And as drivers, a lot of times we're like, well, crap, y'all are just out it for the money. No, they're tired of replacing this bridge and cleaning up all the crap that y'all don't know how to chain down and get a permit for that y'all decide to dump on the main lanes of the interstate. So get a tape measure, know how to use it, know how to order a permit, or at least have a phone number to a permit service. And then when you get your permit, understand what your routing is. Get a map, look at it. A Mark 1 Mod 0 road atlas is your friend. As a truck driver, you should have one of those anyway. Google Maps will get you into more trouble, or Apple Maps, whichever platform you're using, will get you into more trouble in a truck than you can get yourself out of. It will take you places that a truck has no business going. Like in this instance, when you're over 14 foot 5 inches tall, you will hit this bridge. Why would you want to go straight down I-10 anyway? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I wonder how much money they spend fixing that thing. I mean, it can't be it can't be secure after that. Like, there's no way it's safe.
I-10 eastbound at Houston Avenue, that bridge has been whacked so many times. It's a railroad bridge. So it's made for trains to go over it. I guarantee you it's made stouter than whatever it is you're going to hit it with.
I've got one of those in Pensacola, 17th Street Bridge. Anyone who's familiar with Pensacola, Florida, you know it as Graffiti Bridge. It's only 10.8 in height. Yeah, I kid you not, at least twice a week, a box truck tries going through there, and boop, roof is ripped right off. It's convertible now. Love it.
Gotta love it. Well, John, I think you've got a guest for us today, don't you?
I absolutely do. I have Michelle Hutchison from Ship Your Car Now, who's joining us this morning. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm great. I'm having a great time listening to this whole show. And I want to tell you guys all one thing. I'm older than John, so let's hold back on the old lady jokes.
You look better, though. You look way better.
I cannot sit any closer to my camera because I will break everybody's screen. I know that. It's okay.
I love it.
I'm comfortable with myself. Michelle, great to have you here. We are going to be talking a little bit about fraud, particularly in the auto segment, because at Ship Your Car Now, you guys handle a lot of automobiles, and at the brokerage that I work at, we do the same. It's been kind of fun looking at the transition of what's been going on in theft trends. So for today's red flag leading into this discussion, we have a issue when it comes to the auto side. Folks, we've been watching things like food and shoes and metals like copper being the high value targets for thieves when it comes to cargo theft. Well, now automobiles has officially hit the list. Back in January of this year, your average auto theft as cargo took place as usually a single vehicle. As of June, your average auto theft as cargo is going to be 3 vehicles, and at a minimum of around $80,000, which tells us that these guys are now looking at the big money. They're starting to crack the code on the auto side. Michelle, what have you been seeing?
Truth be told, it's not just a recent thing. This has been growing and festering for probably the last 3 years. And now it's finally getting the attention it deserves. 2024 is when we really started to see some less than desirable behavior when it came to missing vehicles. 2025, a lot of people started to understand that they were being stolen. And that is because we were able to start tracking some of these vehicles, and we'd find them in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm sure they weren't just floating around. They were on a vessel headed somewhere. So auto fraud's been around for quite some time, and that's the theft side of it. The other parts of fraud when it comes to auto has been around even longer. We just are now discovering it because of all the tools that are available to us and the opportunity that we have. And John, you and I talk about this a lot, that we have to do deeper dives into the carriers that we're working with. And I've been listening at what everybody's been saying, and you guys are 100% correct. Whether it's freight or auto, there are shitty brokers and carriers on both sides. And there are shippers out there that still just don't care if they're putting their assets on the right equipment, or the equipment that is not going to be, fraudulent. So we're kind of seeing that spike. I talked about it at NADA this past year when I was out there about fraud. A lot of dealers that were sitting in the audience, they were still kind of surprised at that this is happening. And it's because it hadn't happened to them. So I think what's happened is our industry is finally starting to talk about it. And so now it's bubbling to the top where everybody kind of wanted to keep it quiet. And it's the silence that is going to hurt our industry on both sides versus coming to the table, admitting that there's a problem. That sounds familiar. Admitting.
I'm sorry. We've had this discussion several times, you and I.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like, hey, there's an addiction out there, and when you actually admit it, now you can get help for it. Well, there's a fraud addiction, there's a fraud problem. And it's because of a group like this and the collaboration that we're seeing between carriers and brokers. I've actually started developing some really good relationships with carriers that are out there as well that want to make this industry better. And it's about collaborating and understanding and building that partnership. I mean, after 18 years, I'm just sick and tired of what's happening in our industry. And my goal before I retire out, and I'm not going to tell you when, is to literally work really, really hard to make it better. So yeah, fraud is definitely one of those things that I'm pinpointing on both sides.
Yeah, the auto industry, admittedly, is probably about anywhere from 12 to 18 months behind general freight when it comes to recognizing and dealing with fraud. But that is only because it's such a niche market.
Yeah.
And being a niche market, it does have its own different set of issues. I mentioned earlier today about conditional ratings and how we have to sit down and evaluate carriers very closely because, let's face it, of the total motor carrier pool that exists, a very small fraction actually does automobiles. So we have to actually not just sit there and set these specific lanes that a carrier has to fit in order for them to be good to work with, but you have to really pay attention to the different circumstances. You need context. And that's some of the things that reputation platforms like Carrier 411, Watchdog, they don't give you context. Context is what's needed when we're trying to determine whether or not a carrier is good, especially in the auto side.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I want to kind of point out is when we were talking about these words that, brokers and stuff shouldn't be using. I know one of them was about, and John, you and I spoke about this. So just kind of bringing it back to auto is I work a lot with production, movie clients, marketing. We have testing. A lot of clients of mine do testing vehicles, and we do have to have guaranteed pickups and deliveries. And so even though that might be a bad word to say, it's how you frame it with that carrier that's important, because when you are a broker, you have to understand, and I've taken the time to learn the DOT regulations, right? I mean, I understand the 1410 rule. They can only drive for 11 hours. After 8 hours, you have to do a 30-minute reset. Then they have to do a 10-hour, reset every day. And then at the end of so many days, you have to do an entire 32-hour reset. You have to be aware of all this if you're a broker. You can require a driver to have a guaranteed pickup and delivery date. And you have to also educate your clients to let them understand that once those vehicles are on a truck, anything can happen. And it does. And so we have to be able to manage that side of it. As a broker myself, I have to manage both. I have to be very cognizant of that. And I have to ask the drivers the right questions. And if it does require a driver to get from Michigan to California in 3 days, well, unfortunately, the little Star Trek, the little thing where they beam you down, beam me up, Scotty. You guys are probably too young to understand that too. But
Not him.
Make it so.
yeah, exactly. Shimmy's like, huh? So like in Star Wars, Shimmy. No.
We were talking about the original series here, guys. Okay.
Yeah, not the.
No,
I know what a tribble is for Star Trek.
Yay! They're so
Okay.
cute.
All right,
Because they're so
Shane.
cute.
The baby in the group understands the reference. I love it.
And I know the episode is called The Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, they're so
Shimmy,
cute.
your stock just went up. Shimmy, your stock just went up. Congratulations.
I'm gonna just keep surprising you. Just wait, watch. Just wait and watch.
I love it. But I do know that like if it's got to get there in 3 days, I have to educate the client and say, okay, cool. I can totally do that because I do tell people I can do whatever you need me to do. It's this, right? So you're going to need a team driver who doesn't have to stop and reset and do all the things. You know, they still got to go poop, Shimmy, but they can actually like switch out and keep driving. But I think that's super important, you guys, that, yeah, we educate our clients on all fronts, especially this fraud issue. And that's what we're doing, like myself and John on the auto side. And the word this year, and you can work this into another show, is accountability. We have to start holding the shippers, the brokers, and the carriers accountable for the actions, not just the carrier.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day, actually, on a closed conversation, and we wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I'm a huge individual that believes in transparency and accountability. If you don't have that, please find another profession. And if you're a driver or broker, just go work somewhere else because you have to do that. Otherwise, you're making everybody's
Uber and
life.
Lyft are hiring.
Yeah, I sit here and I look at what brokerages are doing, not just on the auto side, but across the entire industry in the wake of Montgomery. And we are definitely seeing new levels of accountability being put onto the carriers. And it's not exactly a bad thing. The problem is you get a lot of carriers that's going to say, hey, look, I value my independence. I value my privacy. Get out of the cab of my truck. You do not have a right to sit there and know where I am 24/7 or whatnot. Carriers, I love you to death. Grow up, okay? Because you have $1 million of somebody else's crap on your truck. They've got every right to know where their crap is, so
Yeah.
be prepared. Big Brother, yeah, is Big Brother watching? Sure. You got flock cameras out there. You've got Gen Logs with their cameras all across the roads. Yes, you are being watched. You are a professional driver. You think the football players out on the field are crying because they got a camera sitting on them every time they sit there and grab a face mask? Well, boo-hoo, okay? You're a professional. This is what happens. People watch you. Get used to it.
I agree, John. But, one of the things I've learned to soften with these carriers is this. I go, listen, boo-boo, I don't care if you got a girlfriend in every state. I don't. Turn your stuff off at night, turn it back on in the morning. Like, I don't need to know what you're doing when you're like parked up somewhere. Cool. That's your business. But the minute you get back on the road, I need to know where you are because yes, John, you have the assets. So I'm not here to rat you out. I'm not here to tell your girlfriend or your wife or boyfriend, or I don't care who it is, what you're doing at night. That's not my business. But my business, you're absolutely right, John, is that cargo and those assets, I'm held accountable to my client. And I hired you to do a job like they hired me. And they're going to hold me accountable. I'm holding you accountable. So I think it's just a domino thing. John, one of the things we talk about is this. Guess what, carriers? You don't have a job without us or the shippers. And guess what? I don't have a job without the carriers. So it has to be a symbiotic relationship between everybody. And you have to get along. You can hate me after you drop my load. I don't care. But at the end of the day, we have to try and get along and understand that we're all here as a business. And so therefore, let's work together. Can we just be decent humans to each other and not get mad? I mean, but again, it does go back to brokers that put a lot of pressure on carriers and check in with them every hour. Now, we can get rid of that if they do allow us to GPS track them, or they do have are hooked up to Super Dispatch on the auto side.
Dumb question here.
Yeah. No dumb questions, Kevin.
So from a carrier standpoint,
You haven't met us.
And I have gone and I have invested in I've invested in a TMS system on my side that integrates with the GPS on my trucks. When I dispatch that truck on that load, you have a portal that gives live tracking information based off the GPS off of the truck. So we're not worried about the driver turning GPS off. We're not worried about any of that, right?
Right.
But we still get the phone calls.
Okay, but
We
those
still
are
get the
the
phone
dum
calls.
dums, Kevin. Those are the
And-
dum dums, and in my industry, on the broker side, that aren't educated or just don't educate. Like, if you are a bigger company like us, right? I don't do the day to day stuff.
Right.
I'm an account manager. I'm a salesperson. I do all those things. If I don't communicate to my team, hey, guess what? Here's a link. Don't call that peer. Don't call them. Don't text them. You can track them. Turn off the auto texts. Now we have like auto follow up, carrier follow up stuff that goes out. Turn it off. Don't bug them. Let them drive. You have
That was
a
a very
tracker.
cromulent answer of you.
Oh,
Cromulent.
there we go.
Whoa. What did I miss?
Oh, if you missed that one, I'll fill you in, Michelle. It's okay.
Is the Simpsons word that was like in the dictionary?
Yes.
Looky
Yes.
there. Looky there.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
No, Kevin, it
From a-
is. They're just being dumb
From a carrier
dumbs.
standpoint, it's so stinking frustrating
Yeah.
when, I mean, we'll be delivered. I will send, the folks on the brokerage side a copy of the POD because my guys are pretty good about, hey, here's a picture of POD, here's a picture of the load right there. And I'll send all that to my contact at the brokerage. And then about 45 minutes later, hey, can we get a status update? Yeah, I invoiced this 30 minutes ago. Come on now.
That's just an individual that's not looking at the right stuff. And, I even I hammer this on my team. When I go through and check all my orders, if the first place I look is the notes, and I actually instituted this across the board. What a concept, right? Put a note in the order. So I tell my team, I will check the notes first before I reach out to you because I can't even imagine how frustrating it is from their side when a salesperson's like, what's going on with this order? What's the update? What's the ETA? Look in the freaking notes. And now if it's not in the notes, I'm going to come at you double time and be like,
We,
is it in the note?
we can go on for hours about this, but we do have to go ahead and wrap this up. Michelle, where can people find your information?
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Michelle Hutchinson. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me everywhere pretty much. So connect with me on LinkedIn and then I'm happy to answer questions. I love collaborating and thank you so much for having me on this show. I love meeting new people. Here. Yeah. And Shimmy, I follow you and you crack me up. You're like my little sister. We have the same personality. Weren't you the one that did the, hey, smoke signals aren't an update? Like if I text you, that was me. I was like, or no, I'm on the road. That got me. You hooked me with that one. I was like, I like her. Yeah.
It's easier for me when I'm like typing or I'm putting something together than it is live. I feel like I'm not quite on it right here, but I'll get used to it. I'll get there. But thank you.
You did great, Jim. You did great.
Yeah, you did awesome. Thank you guys again so much. Kevin, feel free to reach out if you want to talk about broker carrier stuff. John, I know I'm going to talk to you, and Shimmy, I look forward to continuing with you on LinkedIn. And if I can be any assistance to anybody, feel free to let me know.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye. Oh my gosh, she's so great. I like her.
I like her.
Oh, I love her. She's awesome. I really wanted to. I thought about actually having her as a guest or as a co-host on my show. I just have her as a guest co-host currently. That's neither here nor there. But we got time. We got to wrap this up.
Yes, we have stuff to do. I have to do freight brokering stuff, moving shit, shipping shit.
Oh yeah, we all have to.
Say happy birthday to you. I wanna say happy birthday to
This means you need to get into your birthday suit now, Kev. Let's go.
No, well, all right.
Not that kind of show?
No.
That's for the late night LinkedIn?
That's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us for our premiere. We are live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. Be sure to check us out on all of Kisses Media's outlets. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of Kevin, Shimmy, and the rest of the Kisses Media team. Have yourselves a great day. Stay safe out there.
See you Wednesday. Now cut.